So there is always the possibility or the danger of falling into a self-works, a merit theology system, a self-righteousness where your works are what pulled up by your own bootstraps. But Yeshua is always and always will have a problem with dead faith and legalistic perversion of Torah. I continue. So I don't see in the Gospels, right? Listen up. I don't see where Yeshua had a problem with Judaism as a religion, nor do I see any hint of this in Paul's writings. This view that Judaism was a dead and banked-up religion that needed to be discarded and replaced by the new religion known as Christianity carries over from Yeshua's life into the life of Paul in most Christian conversations. If you have a dialogue with your average Christian pastor, seminarian, or Bible student, you're going to find that quite often it's taught or popularly thought that Paul abandoned his former religion, his former life of Judaism, like he says in Galatians chapter 1. He abandoned that former lifestyle in favor of embracing this new life of Christianity. So Paul either started this new religion called Christianity and ran with it, or he picked it up from Yeshua and ran with it and popularized it among his followers as he went around in his missionary journeys and wrote letters here and there, dismantling Judaism, tearing that down, right? Dismantling that program, and instead building up this new religion or new program, new way of life called the law of Christ and Christianity. And so this is a very popular way of talking about and comparing and contrasting the law of Moses with the law of Christ. Wouldn't you agree? It's no secret in Christian circles. Just pick up any Christian theology, Christian commentary, Bible book study on the book of Galatians or something like that, and you'll get the picture that Judaism is out, Christianity is in. Law of Moses is out, the law of Christ is in. The Old Testament is out, the New Testament is in. The people of Israel are out, and the people of God known as the church or Gentile Christianity is in. And thus, the whole replacement theology package, the whole supersessionism picture is kind of held together by the idea of old versus new. And that's where we get back to the sermon or the example that Yeshua left for us in Matthew. We've got this old wine and new wine. We've got this old patch in a new garment or a new patch in an old garment and stuff like that. And in Yeshua's sermon or his analogy or his parable, whatever you want to describe it as, he's obviously contrasting something old and something new. But the challenge for us is to figure out what are the symbols pointing to? What are they referring to? Because he doesn't follow up his little analogy with an exact one-for-one explanation like he does in other places in his teachings, where sometimes he'll say, here's what I mean by the parable, and he'll explain it. Like sometimes his disciples will scratch their head and say, Master, what do you mean by this and that and this and that? And he'll say, let me explain it to you. And then he'll just say, this is this and that is that. And he'll give us the word pictures and tell us what he means. But in this case, he doesn't. He doesn't. We have to infer from context and from the kind of the rest of his lifestyle, what is he meaning? And I think we can infer. I'm going to get to that eventually. But at first I want to bring in another example. But I don't think I'll do it tonight. Let me finish my own conclusion here. So I say the overall thrust, this is just my understanding of Pastor John MacArthur. Again, you've heard me over and over again give the possibility that I could be misunderstanding Pastor MacArthur. Over and over again, I've conceded to the idea that I could be wrong in what I'm understanding about his sermon. But as far as I can tell, here's my conclusion. The overall thrust of Pastor MacArthur's sermon about the incompatibility of Judaism with Christianity, in my opinion, simply cannot be the best way to understand Yeshua's parable here in Matthew. All right, so we're talking about the version of Matthew, which is essentially repeated in Mark and in Luke, and it doesn't show up in John, but you can go back and read the other versions to see if there's something that I missed here. But I don't think that this is the best way to understand the parable here in Matthew if we are giving the weight of the rest of Scriptures their complete and deserved reading.